Hi, everybody. I'm doing my impression of a motorcycle rider, perhaps a Harley Davidson rider. Except I think I would need a nerdier motorcycle, like one that runs on solar power and gluten free electricity. Plus, I love this beard because you can't see my double chin anymore. I got rid of my double chin by not shaving. Thank you, Gillette, for encouraging me not to shave. They're not a sponsor, I just thought it was funny. I want to talk about hypergamy. Uh, it is, in my opinion, it's bullshit, but it isn't. And I believe it applies not just to women, but to men. Uh, Hypergamy is sort of a misnomer. So the actual meaning of hypergamy comes from a caste system, like what we saw in India and the Hindu systems about a century or two ago, where families are born into a specific class. Period. And the concept of hypergamy was a man or a woman from a lower class marrying into a family of a higher class. That was known as hypergamy. These days, it's taught in some circles that hypergamy is sort of the same thing, where it's people who aspire to date people above their station. Um, I see this a lot in channels that are Mgtow, Mgtow, which is men going their own way. It's sort of a male response to feminism, where it's just basically teaching men to stay on their purpose, to put dating as a lower priority. Overall, it can be a very positive outlook, I think. In the grand scheme of things, Mgtow can make men better because it actually teaches them not to put women first and to put their purpose first. And I think this actually makes men more attractive to women because it converts men from being the type of men that are putting women first, who are just dating to try to get women to like them, to actually doing the things that they're good at and focusing on that and focusing on the direction in their life. And coincidentally, that's the kind of man women want to date. Um, but hypergamy within the Mgtow teachings is sort of custom tailored um, for these guys. And I think it raises the number of views on their channels. And I think it's kind of sort of just an incomplete lens because, in its purest sense, it is really something that men should aspire to do as well. When it comes to the dating game, overwhelmingly, women win that game a lot more than men for a number of reasons. I can't possibly go into all of them because I don't know them all, but because I'm a man. But hypergamy, it says that women aspire to date men of equal or higher social status and means than their own, and that men tend to date women of equal or lesser status than theirs. And whenever you look at the empirical evidence for that, it seems true, but it's not the gold standard. And in Mgtow, I'm throwing a lot of acronyms here, I apologize. There's the concept of Awalt and Nawalt. So Awalt, all women are like that, Awalt, and Nawalt, not all women are like that, okay? It doesn't matter who you are. Um, Hypergamy is a Nawalt concept. Not all women are like that. There are outliers, and where I draw the line is because you see these teachings where they say all women are like this, all women are hypergamous, it's part of their genetic makeup, it's what they're taught to do. All women are hypergamous. They will always seek to date somebody of equal or higher status. Uh, and then they turn around and they say, but there are some exceptions, and sometimes women will pick a lower man who they can dominate because for reasons of satisfying narcissism is one, or if they can use somebody to their purpose, they will. And it's like, well, okay, well, these are not gender neutral topics. Okay, it seems it's just from the lens of men. Okay, but men do these things too. Um, plain and simple, we do. Uh, and the thing is, I think that there is a lot of wisdom to be had in hypergamy, particularly if you're a male, and you're subscribing to this concept of all women are hypergamous, all women are going to monkey branch and trade up and dish your man as soon as somebody of higher wealth and status comes along, and that's not always the case. Um, the case that I want to make is the fact that in in the world of alpha and beta, and you also see this in a lot of self-help channels, be the alpha male, alpha, alpha, alpha. The term is thrown around beta male provider, right? The teachings are that women will secure a beta male provider to keep the roof over their head and the bills paid and all this stuff, and that women are overall content to live in that situation and live with this guy and have his children, and he supplies the security for the children and all that. But the second an alpha male comes through, that women are hardwired to seek the alpha male. And basically, if an alpha male happens to breeze through, he can fuck your wife, she'll be fine with it, and she'll keep her mouth shut. Um, like I said, there's plenty of circumstantial evidence for this. I've seen it, been there, done that. Um, that is the case. However, it's not something that applies to all women. Um, and I want to explain why. So, in the concept of alpha and beta, first of all, society is far more complex than that. As we tend to arrange ourselves into various hierarchies. There's more than two levels of the hierarchy, right? So it's very short-sighted. Okay, in as much as whenever you watch a sport like football or basketball or any one of those, the announcers don't just focus on one really good player and forget all the rest. They don't. Okay, because they're constantly doing things like comparing LeBron James and Michael Jordan on how well they play baseball. Just kidding. There's always the talk of who's the greatest of all times. There's always teams that have more than one good player. You have your good offensive players, you have your good defensive players, you have your good water boys, you have your good mascots. It's complicated. So whenever you hear somebody using the terms alpha and beta, it's short-sighted. We don't actually subscribe to that, Even in the case of LeBron James, is he the greatest of all times? Or is he better than Michael Jordan? Who knows? We never will, right? So that's your proof that it's more complex than that. It's not just about game stats, It's about how you actually play the game and everything that goes behind those numbers, right? But what determines your position socially? What determines your social position? What is it that people look at? Because we've all been in that situation. I'll use the example of bowling because I suck at it, and I'm acutely aware that I suck at it. But I'm able to have a good time with people anyways. And that is because I make it no secret that I suck at bowling, but I know how to have a good time. Now, there's plenty of people who are better at bowling than me. And I've gone bowling whenever I was younger with a kid who was really good at bowling, but he was really douchey about it. He would roll. He was super extra in the way that he would go up to the line and hurl his balls down the lane and knock over the pins. And he'd turn around and walk like he was Captain Cock. And it was a turnoff. His girl came and talked to me instead. And I was throwing shit. As a matter of fact, more times than not, I was like, I actually prefer the gutter balls because, there's less suspense involved. And let's face it, it's the best way. It's the only way I know to make the ball go straight. Right? So, the more gutter balls I throw, it's like, hey, you know what? The ball goes in a straight line and I'm not held in suspense till the very end. It's like, I know exactly where it's going to go. And it frees up more time to drink beer. So how is that? Because skill doesn't matter. Obviously, you can be the best bowler and not get the girl. Okay, so it's more to it than that. And this is true for men and women, both. This is my point. You want to be successful, if you want to be at the quote top of the hierarchy, competency is what gets you there. Being the most socially competent person in a given situation and not just socially competent, or the most competent player of a game, the most competent participant in a competition. Competency matters. And that's exactly why this guy who was a really good bowler, and he was thinking he was hot shit and going to get the girls because of how well he could hurl his balls, um, went home empty-handed. Precisely because of that, because it's not just about the skills at that game, it's your skills with humans that also matters. On the other hand, if I was a shitty bowler and had no sense of humor about it, if I was, beating myself up and apologizing to my teammates all the time and putting myself down, then yeah, I would have dropped in the social positions there a whole lot. But generally that doesn't happen to me because I usually just have fun in a social setting, and that's the thing. I know how to have fun no matter what is going on, and people tend to enjoy that because they can have fun. You got to find the fun is the whole point. So, but how is getting back to hypergamy just a little bit, and now that we know about competence, and competence is what defines your position socially. Men ought to be using hypergamy every bit as much as supposedly women do. Okay? Because you got to evaluate your girl on her competence. Okay? You have to evaluate your girl on whether or not she has a purpose. Okay? Same as men, right? Men are taught that we've got to chase the high paying job, and that we have to be providers, and all this other stuff. It's just bullshit. Okay, men you should pursue happiness as a man. Okay, what makes you happy? Now, if having a high status job and working 60 hours a week makes you happy, more power to you. But if I could go back and do my life over again, I would have moved to Bermuda and waxed surfboards and banged bitches in bikinis all my life, right? But I was good in school, and everybody told me I should be an engineer, and that's one reason why I'm not, in the Bahamas, waxing surfboards and banging bikini bitches. Damn it! I thought I was smart. Fuck. So men ought to be using hypergamy every bit as much as women. Why? Because the playing field's level now. It has been for a while. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because there's nothing that holds you back. Anyone who tells you that it's not a level playing field is holding you back, because inequality and struggle is found everywhere, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. It just matters that it's there, and it matters how you approach it. And what matters more than anything else is if you're able to conquer it and find your way through it all. Okay, stop focusing on where it's coming from. Focus on what's in front of you and getting past it. As a man, you should be looking for a woman who has her own purpose. People with purpose put other things first, okay? So they're more likely to tell you no to certain things. They're more likely to have plans. They're more likely to be busy. And that's an attraction builder. That's why I tell people all the time to tell people no, okay? It's actually horribly unattractive if you're somebody's top priority, okay? When it's backwards. That's actually a good way to have a horrible relationship, is by making somebody else a priority. Because that means your happiness is completely dependent on somebody else. And vice versa. That means you're required to act and behave and control everything about this other person's life so that they can be happy, rather than them controlling it. Okay? So you got to find a girl with purpose. You got to find a girl who has drive, who knows what she wants in life, and is willing to go get it. Don't be looking for, don't be just sitting across from girls looking to see who's easy and who you could go home with that night. Okay? Because as much fun as that is, there's no end game. There's no long-term gain in that. Okay? If you're just looking for a lay, hire a professional. Okay? Be done with it. But if you're looking to date and be in a relationship, look for a girl who has purpose. Look for a girl who knows what she wants. And look for a girl who actively chases these things and who's looking to better herself. And then, when you do that, you're less likely to end up with somebody who's a manipulator, okay? Because she's doing it, she's living life for herself, and she's doing it all herself. And she doesn't necessarily need to control you to get the things that she wants. And I'm out of time, but thank you very much for listening. Do please like, comment, or share, and I'll see you on another video.